and salam to everyone. Welcome to Asia
Rugby Live, real talk, real rugby.
Thank you, Sadek. Can I speak in Russian for Sadek?
Yes, please. Yes.
अलग पहचान बना। ऐसे तो मुझे पहले कोई नहीं जानता था, मैं जैसे सब लोग गांव में रहते, मैं भी ऐसे ही घर में रहती।
They see that we learn a lot from the sport off the field as well. There's a lot of things that we can take into a lot of life skills that we can apply in everyday life.
We've got lots of prima donnas. We've got lots of superstars who aren't really superstars.
Intimidated playing the likes of Michael Leach, on your opposite, or
and it was fantastic achievement that the rugby included to Olympic Games.
And the values that they learned through rugby, this made the parents want their kids to be more involved in rugby.
They inspire to be their local heroes.
Are you ready?
I'm tired and everything. Come on, give me a ball. Give me someone to try.
You got to get so technical, like you got to be perfect at scrumming, you got to be perfect at line-outs.
Because I want to show them like Thai women rugby can be professional.
If I sit at home, I was getting angry and not feeling well. I went to the rugby training, so it was amazing.
You've actually picked on my passion, really.
Rugby World Cup in Japan was really something out of the world.
The coach has been saying it's about having direction.
I have one ticket on the bus.
It is normal for us, normal with us.
50 years time, come to road.
Alright guys, don't forget to join us same time, same day.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Till then, this is Asia Rugby Live, real talk, real rugby. And that was the bits and pieces from Season 1 Asia Rugby Live. Welcome back to another episode of Asia Rugby Live with me, Rod, real talk, real rugby. And of course, thank you everyone for joining us today in our special last episode of Season 2 and last episode of the year. Wow, it has been a really long journey for us, but it has been a really meaningful and also an interesting one. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to Asia Rugby Live YouTube, Facebook, Instagram page, all the social medias that we have. There you go, like, subscribe, and don't forget to press on the notification button should we have new content for you in the future. And of course, we have some updates for you. Number one, Asia Rugby held 3 micro Asia Rugby governance workshops. These are introductory sessions for the upcoming leading rugby workshop, which we will be held in 2021, and these workshops were simultaneously organized on Zoom with senior management of unions discussing about high performance workshop, governance and sponsorship. And there you go, workshops that was held. And this was the AGM that was held, the Asia Rugby AGM. At the AGM, elections were held for certain positions on EXCO in a historic milestone. The council elected 2 female members on the executive committee. Well done to AWB and also Nahid Bior Jamandi. And that was the visual for the President Kais. Abdullah Al-Dalai was in Moscow where he met the Russian Rugby Federation, Igor Artemayev. And this was the RB Championship in Uzbekistan yesterday. Check it out. The highlights on Asia Rugby social media. There you go, guys. And some more updates. After 9 years at the helm of World Rugby, Chief Executive Brad Gosper is to leave the international body early in 2021. We in Asia Rugby wish him all the best of luck. And the 7th Rugby Europe General Assembly elected Octavian Morariu for the position of president at the regional governing body and will serve in the office from 2020 to 2024. And he was on our show last week, and we from Asia Rugby again would like to congratulate him. And of course, today we have the CEO for the season finale, Johny Stavrinou, the CEO of Asia Rugby. He hasn't been on the show, but he was the brainchild for this show and Johny, we would like to welcome you finally on the show. Yeah, we know that you are, behind the scenes kind of guy, but I think the whole of Asia would like to know who is Johny Stavrinou. But before that, Johny, I would like to say congratulations to the All Blacks for winning the Tri-Nation Championship, just to get you started.
Thank you very much, Rod. Thank you for hosting me. And I was going to be very nice to you, but after that introduction with that last sentence, I've now changed my mind. So it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having me on here. And just looking at the montage of season 1 that you have played, the work that has gone behind it, the effort that has gone behind it, the participation from everybody has been overwhelming. It's exceeded expectation. And to my team and to you, Rod, I would like to extend my sincerest thanks for making what was an idea, really, really come to light in the manner that it has.
Thank you very much for that. We are definitely delighted to run the show, as well as the team Big Belly Media and the producers and also the engineers are very happy that this show, I would say, would be in the spectrum of successful. Anyway, Johny, to kick things off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from and how you get into Asia Rugby?
Okay, so I was born, raised and educated in South Africa. My parents were originally from the island of Cyprus, and they immigrated there in the beginning of the 70s for a better life. This is when most of the people left their home countries in Europe and went to sort of the richest countries. So that's how South Africa came into the mix. And in 2004, I moved back here to Cyprus, basically came back to the motherland, and started my new life here. And sort of while I was here, started the federation together with some other people as well. Started the Cyprus Rugby Federation that was here, and I think the sort of the rest is history. How I came into Asia Rugby, I think rugby wasn't really part of the career plan, to be honest with you. But when I did see the application, I mean the advert for the position, I think it sort of sparked a major interest in me, and thought that I've got to give this a try and see whether or not somebody that is very involved in rugby from all the way in South Africa days, from a player, and I wasn't a very good player, but from a player to becoming one of the youngest referees in the city that I lived in, and then moving on to becoming a coach as well. Whether or not there is space for someone from a small island that could compete for such a position. And here I am today.
Oh, that's great. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for the introduction. And of course, I think we are all very happy that finally you are on the show and also telling your story, your side of the story, your history on how you became the CEO of Asia Rugby. And of course, you've had an interesting high-profile international career up to date, and now you're involved with rugby. And was it part of your career plan to get involved with rugby professionally? And what advice would you give to those who want to remain in the sport beyond the field of play?
Okay, so as I said, rugby wasn't really part of the plan. I did have a career plan. I did have sort of a retirement plan, to put it that way. But when the opportunity came up, I really had to. Something inside me said, just do it, apply and see where you go for this. But it was a two-way street. Before I decided to accept the position or what have you, I really had a good look at, who are the leaders? Who are the people driving this? What are they about? What are they doing? And it's the one critical element that really made my mind up is that people who are elected in a particular office, once they get into that particular chair, that's it. Their whole objective is to get into that chair and get that title. And then after that, they don't focus as much on the game or focus on the operation in order for it to grow. In this particular case, it was very different. We have a leader and a leadership that got into the chair because they had a vision, because they had a plan. And that vision and that plan made 100% sense to me. And I could relate to those things. So that was a critical element for me to make my decision to accept the position and take, and be part of the plan. Another very interesting element that sort of convinced me to change my career path and come onto Asia Rugby, and that is, and perhaps this is the most important one for me, is that one of the strategic plan elements, the KPIs that we have, is one sentence, but for me it's probably the most important sentence. And it said there that the Asia Rugby members will have a say in how Asia Rugby is run. Now, I don't want to get into my past history with Cyprus Rugby and the constraints involved with that. But for me, this was very, very important that the people who we represent actually have a voice and that we listen to them, because we work for them. It's as simple as that. It's not a one-man show or a one-team show and it's one side. So that to me made an enormous amount of sense in that. And if you look at the structure today, we have, the Asia Rugby hierarchy, we have EXCO. But more important than that, we have 9 committees, and in those 9 committees, we have a total amount of around 55 people on a voluntary basis, covering all the regions of Asia, working on those committees, contributing their views on those committees for the betterment and for the furtherance of Asia Rugby. Now, I don't know of many other organizations that are so proactive and allow this sort of mass integration and sharing of ideas in order to cover all the regions as such. But for me, this is a major 2 thumbs up in establishing these, and this is one of the reasons why I've also decided to come on and take over the position.
So I think I can relate to what you said because the president himself, Mr. Qais Abdullah Adalai, he also mentioned of transparency, which is really important. Can you relate to what he said about transparency and also the importance of being transparent to members while you say that we are working for these people?
Yes, absolutely. At the end of the day, they are the boss. They are the reason why we are here. That's the bottom line. They are, as the president says, they are the ultimate authority. So, transparency is absolutely critical, because when you get transparency and when you offer transparency, you will get trust and you will get transparency back. It's a two-way street as such. The more you hide things, or the more you only show what you want to show, or you only tell what you want to tell, it's a cliche, but at the end of the day, the wheel turns and the truth will eventually come out. The real picture will eventually come out. And if you don't be transparent from the beginning, it will definitely come back and bite you in a way that you don't want to be bitten, and your credibility is lost. So I absolutely share the sentiment of the president with regards to transparency, that it is critical and it is ongoing, and it is one of our key principles that we work with and towards, and that we will maintain, sort of going forward. But this is not only in rugby. I mean, this is something that should be adopted in all business operations, in all business aspects.
There you go. All organizations can learn from Johny and also Mr. Qais, the president of Asia Rugby. Transparency is really important to all our viewers out there. For you guys, you have any questions in terms of whatever that you want to ask the CEO himself, this is your opportunity. You want transparency? There you go. The man himself, he can answer any questions that you want. Please comment down below and we'll try to present your questions after this. Anyway, the next question I would like to ask you, Johny, how important is the evolution of rugby from traditional markets?
Oh, I think it's very important. I think it's one of the critical elements. I have in all my career paths that I have taken, if there's one thing that I had learned, and that too much copy paste is not only fulfilling what you need to do, but it's also taking away the credibility of the product that you are trying to promote. So there's a lot of unions who perhaps are not that developed, with rugby in their territory, but there is absolutely no reason why we shouldn't look and explore the possibilities of having a major competition or a major tournament or a game in a neutral market, for example, whereas that game would or that tournament will help from a commercial point of view that union and Asia Rugby and build awareness of the game of rugby in that particular market. So I think, sort of traditional markets, yes, it's important to have traditional markets, but it's also important for us to explore other markets where feasible and where possible. And, the lesson that we learned here from traditional markets is from the Olympic Games. What the Olympic Games did to us is that it put rugby in homes, in territories, and in countries where rugby is not developed yet. And that, that gained a lot of interest, it gained a lot of awareness. Now, if that applies for the Olympic Games, then it can also apply for the region of Asia Rugby.
Okay. Talking about just now, we were talking about traditional markets and the importance of probably evolutionize the way you do business and stuff. And Asia Rugby Live, this particular show was your idea, and you've been driving this solidly. What made you come up with this idea? And in your opinion, how important has technology become across the board?
If you look at our region, Rod, I mean, we really have a fantastic region to work with. We're talking from Lebanon to Japan, all the way down to Indonesia. It covers, I think, 7 or 8 time zones that we have. So, we needed a product. We need a product that to keep our engagement up, to keep the connection, to keep our reach going with everybody that we have. And the online platform that we have, not only with Asia Rugby Live, but also in terms of entertainment, but also for education, has truly, from May, has taken off very, very well. It surpassed all expectations. So what we are seeing here today with Asia Rugby Live, and also with our podcasts and webinars and education and development works and projects that we have online, these are now here to stay. This is definitely not going away. And just to give you a snapshot of how we have done with so far. I mean, we're talking, since May we've reached over 2 million people, and we've gotten all 34 unions participating in these shows. We've had more than 85 guests covering 20 topics, and more than 500,000 people have watched our videos. Now, all these numbers, just take into account, is under COVID situation, in a lockdown situation, and there's no competition. So if you take these numbers and you add the numbers of the competition as well to come to there, I mean, the online product is at its embryonic stage, and the true value of it, once competitions come in, will be absolutely overwhelming. But in its current state that it is, it provides a fantastic opportunity for commercial collaboration for people, because the numbers are there, the reach is there, the diversity is there, and the whole sort of commercial deck and sort of commercial package around the numbers makes absolute sense with this. An online product that is good and building the way this one is for any brand, but not also for rugby, but for any brand, is a great route to market incentive and a solid route to consumer mechanism as well. And as I said, that if these are the numbers now during lockdown, and they are really, really good, the numbers will only fly out of the ceiling once competitions come in as well, and all these online statistics are put together in terms of the audience that we have established. In terms of technology, I think that's a really good question. I mean, what technology has taught us is that even though rugby is a remote sport and people rely on traveling and to do their business, people have gotten together more than they ever have before. They're seeing each other perhaps on a daily basis or every second day, and things are done. The production is great. The output and input there's significant furtherance to that. And also, it also saves a lot of money at the end of the day, to put people on airplanes and fly them around. Obviously, yes, you are going to have the meetings face-to-face that you need to have. But this has also shown us that there are some savings that you can do, significant amount of savings with using technology, and those savings can be sort of redirected to somewhere else. In terms of Asia Rugby, all the exco meetings have been online. The committee meetings, the 9 committees that I mentioned before, those have been online. We've had an extraordinary meeting, general meeting, that has been online, council meeting and annual general meeting. So all those have been online. we fulfilled all the criteria for the in terms of our articles and regulations and our company ordinance that we need to do, as if it was a physical meeting. So it really has proven that technology, in terms of input and output, is just as good, if not a little bit better. People see each other more often, and it saves a lot of money. And also, at the end of the day, using technology, like I said before, for these sort of incentives and these projects that we have at the moment, the Asia Rugby Online and the podcasts and the webinars, coupled with the streaming, the live streaming of the games that are hopefully soon going to be starting in March, there's a major commercial benefit to all these. So I'm a big fan of using technology, and hopefully we can carry on running with this ball.
Oh, that's great to know that you are, on the same page, probably with us young people in terms of technology. Interestingly enough, I think it was it yesterday or 2 days ago, I was watching on Facebook a swimming diving tournament that was actually the organizers was Malaysia. So, but it was held simultaneously with other countries as well. 2 divers from Malaysia, 2 divers from Singapore, and other countries as well. Moving forward, given our circumstance and our situation, is it possible? Of course, we can't have one team from Malaysia play in Malaysia and the other team playing in whatever region they are in. Probably we can have like a micro tournament in one location and the other micro tournament in the other location. Then probably the winner meeting together at another location. Do we see that moving forward, Johny?
Look, when you put into a box and when you sort of trapped into a corner and you try to come up with new ideas, new products to put out there, everything and anything is a possibility. So a very short answer to your question is, yes, it's a possibility. It will have to be looked at very seriously at how it affects our current sort of structure, the current competition structure that we have. But unfortunately, I work with really open-minded people. I'm talking all the way from leadership down to the committees that deal with this. And any idea is a good idea that has to be explored. But as I said before, I think in these circumstances where we are sort of forced to think out the box and come up with something new, any idea is a good idea. And these type of ideas that you have just mentioned would probably be put on the table for consideration.
Would financial, one of the things, probably financial, would it be one of the influence that this thing would happen or would not happen? Do you reckon?
The short answer is yes. That will probably be the case as such. But having a look at where we are, having a look at the market that we are, we're beaming out to over 8 time zones or what have you. If it looks good and if it sounds good and if the audience is huge and we have great reach on that, for example, then I think the financial part would be easy to market so that we can cover that, that particular product.
I see. Cool. That'd be great. Probably, yeah, like I said, something that we can look for in the future. And in terms of Asia Rugby, probably we can talk about what are you focused on right now for Asia Rugby?
I think it's to keep our fans and to keep the engagement going as we've done before. To keep these products going at the moment, sort of the Asia Rugby Live and all the webinars and the podcasts that we have. And just to give you some insight with regards to what is happening from a development point of view, since the 1st of May, we've developed over 150 participants in workshops that we've had. We've done over 500 participants in union educating and presenters delivering workshops under the guidance of the Asia Rugby consultants, to the point where these guys who we have trained are now going back to their unions and consolidated numbers from May until now. Is that we've had over 400 workshops and over 4,000 participants, and this is really good. So one of the focus is just to continue this, enhance this, grow this, promote this as much as possible. This is key for us, and incorporate that also with the live coverage of the games. Now, both of these things would give a fantastic commercial value for prospective sponsors to come in, and and hopefully quite soon I'll be able to, we'll be in a position to have some good news with regards to sponsorship as such. But all these things in a non-competition environment has made a huge difference for us. Other areas for me that I would like to focus on is that I would like to look at Asia Rugby as a whole. We need to look at Asia Rugby in a sub-segmented region made up of about 5 regions, which is Central Asia, South Asia, West Asia, Southeast Asia, and also East Asia. And taking into account the development needs and training and education needs that they want. I think that's pretty critical for us, is that we need to have a look at the micro needs of everyone, and in terms of what they need in order for us to provide those needs. Because then you'll get proper growth coming from there, rather than just talking to Asia Rugby market, Asia Rugby unions in one language, without knowing what the needs are from there onwards. I think moving forward, Rod, I think retention for us is pretty important after this COVID situation. Retention is really, really critical, and I know unions are trying very hard with that. But at the same time, it's also recruitment, inclusion, and I say that for women's rugby, that's a critical element for Asia Rugby that we are really pushing very hard to make happen and to grow those numbers. And I'm really happy that those numbers are growing. But also to increase our footprint, to increase our territories, and to get into new unions, into new markets as such. Sort of incentives like these and projects like these that we are doing, and you mentioned it before, do tap into the young market. And it's the young market that the young consumer, the young fan that we need to keep engaged more than anything. And these sort of online sort of products really, really help and have proven to be quite valuable to us, with regards to that. At the end of the day, we need to understand that, if I had to take sport, it's almost as if it's a fast-moving consumable good. You've got to evolve all the time. You've got to change. You've got to be with it. You've got to be up with the times. You've got to be more communicative to a vast different number of audiences, from very young to inexperienced about rugby, and to the experienced and well knowledgeable about rugby. You can't talk to both sets of groups in the same language. You've got to be able to diverse your language, and you've got to be able to put all that together. So that's sort of very important for us. And with us being the biggest region, within the World Rugby, the product of the competitions that we have that actually, bring in the numbers or what have you, I think you'll be very pleased to know that, the competitions calendar is ready for next year. It's a great competitions calendar that we have. There is a new product that we have in there called Beach Rugby that I hope that we will be able to really, really take it forward. I'm a very big fan of Beach Rugby as such. So, these are sort of the main areas that we will be focused on. But, having said all this, you need people to support it. And once again, we are very fortunate within Asia Rugby that we have a president and an exco and the committees that are very open-minded people that think out the box, that are traditionalists in some sense of the word, but also, looking to explore things that may be risky at times, but not afraid to get their feet wet and to get their hands dirty when it comes to trying new things. So that is a very, very big plus for us. And also, and I think most importantly, rather more important than me, are the contractors that we have to make all these focus areas that I just mentioned to you before a reality. We have Ben Van Rooyen, who's in charge of development, who's done a fantastic job and will continue to do so. We have Guy Kalajel, who is also within development, and he's in competitions, and we've already seen new structures within competitions as such, a new calendar coming up. We have Kuram Haroon, who is our competitions and our digital guy, and just the product that you have seen not only with Asia Rugby, the online products, but generally with social media has been absolutely wonderful. We have Anatoly, who's helping out with Central Asia. We have George Dalapal now. We have a dedicated person who is looking after match official and building a match official portfolio, and he's doing a fantastic job as well. We have Jean Tong, who is our World Rugby, he's our training and education guy who works tirelessly to make sure that all the resources are out there and everybody is up to date with what they need to know and what they need to be aware of. And then we have Rizal Sat, who is our World Rugby representative here, who works tirelessly with us and very much with us, to keep on focusing and to help us focusing on what we are doing to take it across. As a CEO, I'm just here with, it's just me. Without these guys, without the leadership, these focus areas, I think, wouldn't come into fruition as such. And also not to forget our accounting guy, a new guy who has come on, Afan, who is sort of the financial watchdog of what we are doing, and he sort of shouts and screams at us if we step out of place and if we're spending too much, which is a good thing as well. Now, the reason I mention all these names is that because in their title they are known as contractors, but believe me, if we could have a title of saying a passion for development of rugby, a passion for competitions for rugby, a passion for TNE for rugby, that would be the title. These guys are truly, truly passionate people. And it's very easy for me to have focus elements, and it's very easy for Exco and the president to have certain things what they want to concentrate on. Without passion, you will get there, but not supersede the expectation. So we are very lucky to have those people in place.
Hey, you know what? Well done, Johny. Well done. You really know your stuff. I was really, really impressed when you were uttering all these names one by one. Who is taking care of what? Like, they are all over Asia, but you know your stuff. So well done for that. It's I guess you really have a challenging job, but I guess the challenge there is to make everyone streamline the direction of everyone so that you achieve your goals. Okay, I think we have a question on Facebook, and it's from the president himself, and the president is watching closely, Mr. Kais Abdullah Al Dalai. Let's see, Mr. CEO, you was the president of Cyprus Rugby for more than 10 years, which is a member union of Rugby Europe, and now the CEO of Asia Rugby. What's the difference between Rugby Europe and Asia Rugby?
This is the president being provocative in his question, but it's a good question, and I will answer this question. I think I answered that question in the beginning, and that is one of the reasons that made me come to Asia Rugby is that one sentence that we had in the strategic plan whereby every union or Asia Rugby unions will have a say in how Asia Rugby is run. And we see that with the development of our committees, and we see that with the engagement that we have with the committees. Their suggestions or their advice would come up to me, and then it will go up to Exco. So it really is an all-inclusive, transparent, equal, fair regional association of Asia Rugby, where everybody, no matter how big you are, no matter how small you are, no matter how rich you are, no matter how less rich you are, no matter how developed or how less developed you are, you have a place at the table, you have a voice at the table, and we will listen to what you have to say. So what those are, in answering that question, I think I've also covered the major differences between Asia Rugby and Europe.
Oh, that's great. And good to know that you chose us in Asia. Anyway, last questions that I have for you, which is, what's the most interesting episode of Asia Rugby Live, from season 1 and season 2? Which one is the most interesting one for you, and why?
Oh, undoubtedly the mothers and daughters. For me, that was that was for me the best one as far as I'm concerned. And if I may just close with this statement as such, there are a lot of people who watch these online interviews, some from watch World Rugby, watch these games, and they look at these players, and they want to get involved, they want to be involved, but they don't know how, they don't know if they fit in. Will I be a good player? Will I not be a good player? It looks very masculine. It looks very this. It looks very that, and a little bit intimidating. And as my closing remark, for me, and it's something that I've always had with me, is that Rugby doesn't care who you are, what you believe in. We don't care how many tattoos you have. We don't care how many earrings you have. We don't care what color your hair is. We don't care what you love, what you like, and what you don't. We don't care how big you are, how small you are, how muscular or non-muscular, or how thin you are. There is a place for you in rugby. Rugby encompasses and embraces everybody. The only decision that you have to make is just come. Come as you are. We will open our arms to you, and you have a home within rugby. We will look after you. We will take care of you. We will train you. And believe me, from the very first day that you join any rugby club, anywhere, you would have made friends for life, family for life. That is my closing remark on the subject.
Yes. You know what? That is really, really true. And I just got word from Kuram Harun that Asia Rugby Facebook has hit 100,000 followers. Well done. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much to our followers, to you guys, who has been following Asia Rugby from the beginning until now. And of course, moving forward, we would like some more followers in the future to grow this channel for you guys for rugby in Asia. Johny, thank you very much. You have been great. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of input that you have given us today. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything. Probably, like I said at the beginning, before we went live, I am going to see you in Cyprus. I'm not sure when, but soon, definitely. And to you guys, to all our viewers, thank you very much for joining us. You have been great all season 1 and season 2. This is the last episode of the year. First of all, Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year. We will see you in 2021, and we will show you the best and bits or pieces of season 2. Till then, I'm Rod signing off for season 2. Take care and see you guys next year. Goodbye. Hi there, it's been a while, isn't it? NX Rugby is back into action. So does Asia Rugby Live. Hey guys, what's up? Another episode of Asia Rugby Live. Real talk, real rugby with me, Rod.
It's the passion, it's the commitment, it's all the things that the individual unions are doing.
I would rather play alongside with the people that don't know how to play rugby.
Every mother and father should encourage their daughters to play rugby.
Want to the girl come to play rugby is a no more.
There's no reason why the Korea, the Malaysians, Sri Lankans, there's no reason why they cannot improve, and that's the beauty, particularly with Sevens Rugby.
It's kind of a philosophy towards training and coaching available for Asian coaches.
Japanese public are thirsty for rugby right now. We need to supply that demand.
I look at this as being, a partnership. We're all in the same sport working together. You're the people who have the great stories.
All the kids that don't have the opportunities, rugby can definitely give them a pathway.
In Sevens Rugby, you might not get hit as much as you would in 15.
And when you play at your home soils against Singapore, the feeling is much more creative.
It's a rivalry that we really look forward to.
99% is not good enough, and that's the key thing, right? Of success.
Putting all that aside and being able to stick to each other, and the majority of it coming from Lebanon rugby-based players is amazing.
Hey, brother, we have hamburger free after play.
We get the easy job. We get to sit there and watch the game rather than clear up the mess afterwards. It's great.
関わるすべての人を大切にして喜びを分かち合う。
You can go on holiday and you don't really get a feel for a place until you live there properly.
那你们今天为什么这么漂亮？
Or the difference of level between unions were not as much as we can see it today.
Providing funding for emerging unions.
As all my colleagues, we have a very important part of our budget.
I was crying the way I was talking. So
your biceps are bigger than mine.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
See you guys next week. Goodbye. Take it away, Fred. Take it away.